The 5th of July, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
Very well. Okay, so okay. So we're going to call upon Roy to start the reading from Amar Mar.
Amar Mar, the master said in the Parasha, Guzela Kayemes, as long as a robbed article is extant, Hayevin L'Shalem, they are liable to return it. Nema Tievi Tiyuvta Derami Ka Chema. Let us say that this is a refutation of Rami Bar Chama. And the Ashkal thinks to say about that and continues. The Gemara answers, Oma lach Rami Bar Chama. Rami Bar Chama would say to you, Ki Taniya Hayeh. When that ruling was taught in the Parasha, turning over to 112a, 1. Lifnei Yush, it referred to the situation before the owner despaired, before he had Yush of recovering the stolen object.
Okay. All right, so that ends that section. That's so both Rami Bar Chama and Rav Chizda learned the Brisa differently. According to Rav Chizda, the Brisa is talking after the owner was miyayesh. And like that, we explained the Bava in the Brisa that said Eina Gzela Kayemis, if the Gelzel is not extent, even though it's not extent, Peturin, the sons are nevertheless putter from having to pay for it. And we said that was a question on Rav Chizda. He said that's because the Brisa, he learns the Brisa is talking about after Yeush. So in that case, if it's after Yeush, so then Rav Chizda would be moda. That they're not regarded as being Gazlani, and therefore they wouldn't have to return it, even though they ate it and it's no longer around. And if so, the Gemora said, then what do we do with the case where it says Gezela Kayem is Chayavim V'Shalem? If the Gezel is extent, so pay for it, and that would have amounted to a tiyuvta on Rami Bar Chama, because Rami Bar Chama says that if it was after Yeush, and he holds that Rishus Yoresh is comparable to Rishus Lokeach, so that amounts to a Shini Rishus. So now you have Yeush in this Brisa, because you're saying the Brisa is talking after he was Miyayish, and also Shini Rishus. So that, according to Rami Bar Chama, will be a kinyan in the hand of the sons. And why should they have to pay for it if it's even if it's extent? They acquired it through Yeush and Shini Rishus. So on that, the Gemora says, no, Rami Bar Hama, for his part, he will interpret that this Bryce is talking about a case which was before Yeush. So each one of them can say what's good for him in order to explain the Bryce, that it's not shver on their opinion. Okay, that's the story. And now we go to the Rashi, Lifnei Yeush, on Kuf Yud Beis Amid Aleph. First Rashi on the page.
Just at the last Rashi on the page before.
Oh yeah.
We have that it's a contradiction. Rabbi Bachama Kevin la'acha Yeush, because that's saying it's after Yeush, and then Rabbi Chami answers back that it's leaf. When we turn the page, leaf Yeush, it's before Yeush. Okay, so the leaf Yeush says, I'm turning the page, the first Rashi, the Shini Rishus, that if it's a change of venue, of Rishus, the low Yeush, and there's no Yeush in it, low Kane, he won't acquire it. So this is before Yeush, and if there's no Yeush, he doesn't get it. The Chi, and since Ein Gezela Kayemet, the robbed item isn't existent, made ma'achum she'achlu achrei mot, because he ate it, consumed it after he died, after his father died, he'd be patarim, he'd putter. The lace lay the Rav Chisda, and this is not like Rav Chisda.
Yeah. Yeah, because according to Rav Chisda says that as long as so why is it not like Rav Chisda? Rav Chisda says before Yeush, but we're talking about right. It's right. It's not like Rav Chisda, right? Why is it not like Rav Chisda? Because Rav Chisda holds that before Yeush, the stolen item is regarded as being in the legal domain of the original owner of the item, the real owner of the item. And so whoever's going to take it, such as the sons, and eat it, it's like they grabbed it from the original owner and ate it. So they're gazlanim. So according to Rav Chisda, they'd be gazlanim. And even if they can't say, oh, it's not here anymore. Yeah, we know why it's not here anymore, because you guzzled it from me and then you ate it. So pay up. So that's what would be the din according to Rav Chisda. But according to Rami Bar Hama, he doesn't agree with Rav Chisda that in that scenario, Lifnei Yeush doesn't mean that when the sons eat it, it's regarded as they're eating it from the hand of the original owner that they took it from. They don't hold like that. So in other words, they hold that only the father is regarded as a gazlan over here, and Ram Bar Hama. And so therefore, if it would be extent, then they'd have to return it. One second. Yeah, well, that's the Mishnah says. The Mishnah says that they do have to return it over here. Zela Kayemis, they got to return it, right? Right. Even though they didn't steal it, even though they're not the ones that is regarded as the Gazlanim. But the question was on Rabbi Bahama that, if we're going to say that the Bryce is talking about La'achar Yeush, that was what Rav Chisda told us to defend himself. And so the Gemara is going with that and saying, oh, so we're saying that the price is talking lachayesh. Oh, so if so then you got both elements that should create a kinyan in the hand of the sons. Namely, you've got yeush of the bailim, and you've got shini rishus, because Rambam Chama holds that the rishus yorish is rishus lokeach, that it's regarded as a shini rishus when the sons inherit it, this stolen item from the father, and therefore they would have made a kinyan. So Rami Bar Chama has got to say that for his part, that no, the Bryce is not talking about a case where the Bailim was the Yayish. The Bryce is talking about a case of Lifnei Yeyush, and so therefore it wasn't Yeyush. And therefore they gotta give it back. One second. What's confusing over here is the Gemara is saying if the gazelle is kayemis, they gotta give it back, right? Right, and okay, yeah, okay. They gotta give it back because it's lifnei yeush, so they weren't kona it. But it's true, if it would have been after yeush, so then they would not have to give it back because they already acquired it with yeush and shini rishus. That's the point. According to the view of Rami Bar Chama, that's what would come out. Okay, so that's the end of that sugya, and now the Gemara goes on to something else over here. Rav Ada bar Ahava. Okay, so we are on the first line of Kufiyat Beis Amid Aleph. So we go to Alan. Would you like to read for us?
Ellen, you're muted.
Okay.
Okay, Alan, we're on the first line of 112a.
Okay. A1. In the preceding passage,
Rav Ada bar Ahava.
Yeah, that's the English in front of it.
Rav Adar bar Ahava, Mishneh, right? Lahem. Rami bar Hamor Echar. Preceding passage, Rami ben Chama inferred from our Mishnah that inheritance constitutes a change of domain, as if the robber sold the stolen property. Gemara now presents a different version of Rami bar Chama's statement, according to which he draws his inference, not from a Mishnah, but from a Baraisa. Rabbi Adar bar Ahava, Mishnei Lahem, Durmi bar Chamor Achar. Rav Adar bar Ahava teaches the statement of Rami bar Chama in reference to the following brisa. Hiniach lohen vihen mo'os shel Rebbe. If their father died and left them money that was an interest payment for a loan, afal pi sheyid in shehain shel ribas, even though they know that it is interest, ein chayavin l'chazir they are not obligated to return it. Omar Bar Chama, Rami Bar Chama said, Zos O Meris. This teaches that Rishus your resh occur shus lokeach to me. The domain of an heir is similar to the domain of a purchaser. For example, when one leaves property to his heirs, it undergoes a change of domain, just as it were to sell to a purchaser. By virtue of this change, the heirs of a man who lent on interest acquire their legal payment. Hence, even if the money has not been spent, they need not return it to the borrower.
Okay.
I don't get that.
Yeah.
Why don't they have to return the money?
Because it's rebate. And it's illegal to give rebate.
Right, so why don't they have to
So
return?
that's-
Okay. So let's explain this. Let's explain this. Okay, so the father had money that was a ribis payment that had been given to him, right? Then the father passed away, and this was so the ribis payment is now being inherited by the sons. Okay, so now the Brisa says, even though the sons know that this is a ribis payment, they do not. So, in a certain sense, it's sort of like a gezel that they have in their hands that the father gazeled from someone, right?
Right.
Similar to the case that we had before. So, you might have thought to say that, look, if they have something that belongs to somebody else, they can't keep it. They got to give it back to the one that owns it, right?
Right.
So Rami Bar Chama says they don't got to give it back. Well, no, the Brisa says you don't have to give it back. Ein chayavim lahachzir. Those are the words of the Brisa. They don't have to give it back. Why do they not have to give it back? So Rami Bar Chama explains Sosomeris. This that the Brisa tells us that you don't have to give it back tells us the following halachic principle: that rishus Orish is kerishus lokeach dami. This is the principle that we've been talking about for the last couple days over here. What is this principle saying? It's saying that when sons inherit something from the father, it has the same halachic status as a purchaser that purchased something from the seller. Just like we understand that when the seller sells to a purchaser, so now that's called a shinu rishus. It's called that there's now been a change of domain from the seller to the purchaser. So too, when the father bequeaths this interest payment to the sons, it's also regarded as a change in legal domain. It's called a shini rishus, And if we've been saying that if you have two elements over here, even though the item admittedly belonged to somebody else originally, but now we're saying it belongs to the sons. How does it now belong to the sons? Because you got two elements over here that have been fulfilled. We're assuming that there was a yeush on the part of the one that paid the interest to the father. He was miyayish from ever getting that back. He willingly gave the father ribbis. So that's certainly a yeush. Nothing to talk about. And in addition to that, now that the father died and it goes b'Yerusha to the sons, that's called the Shini Rishus. So now you have these two elements of Yeush and Shini Rishus. And what that means is that the sons are going to be able to make a kinyan to acquire it, to make a legal acquisition in this ribis money. And so therefore, if you'll ask, how come they don't have to return this ribis money? The reason is because they acquired it. And now it legally belongs to them. Okay.
I understand that they acquired the object, but how did they acquire the interest?
The interest simply means that there's let's say they got $10,000 of interest, right? There was a $100,000 loan, and the guy and the terms were you pay back the $100,000 and together with $10,000 too. So there's $10,000 of interest over here. And it was, and it went b'Yerusha to the sons. So why don't the sons have to give it back? Doesn't it belong to it was usher for the father to take it, right? Ribis. Well, it's true. It was usher for the father to take it, but now that he took it, and now there's been a Shini Rishus. And now that the one that paid it was miyayish from ever getting it back, so you got Yeush and Shini Rishus, and that amounts to a kinyan. Those two elements create a kinyan in the hand of the sons. So they don't have to give it back. It belongs to them. Even if we know where this $10,000 is, it's right in this envelope over here. It's right in this safe. In the bank. We know where it is. But this is what we're learning over here from Rami Bar Chama is this principle. And the principle and which is going to be a subject of a dispute. Rav is going to dispute this principle. But Rami Bar Chama holds that the shini that the rishus of the yoresh, when it goes into the rishus of the inheritor, that's going to be regarded in halacha as a shini rishus, as a change of legal domain, just as much as if a purchaser had purchased the item from the seller. And Rava is going to dispute this. Rava is going to say, no, there's a difference between when inheritors inherit from the father and when a purchaser purchases from a seller. When a purchaser purchases from a seller, we understand that's called a Shini Rishus. That's called a change of legal domain from the seller to the purchaser. But we don't say the same thing about the sons that yorish from the father. It's not the same thing. Not the same thing. So it's not so according to Rava, you don't have you'll still have Yeush, but you will not have Shini Rishus. So according to Rava is going to have to explain why it is that the sons don't have to give back this ribis over here, because even if the because Yeush by itself is not going to be a kinyan, according to Rava, in the hands of the sons. Okay. So that's going to be maybe we should, before we read this long Rashi, we're going to get stuck in over here. Let's first just finish the let's see what Rava says over here. So that's so far. That's what Rami Bar Chama says. That this brisa, he says, very good. It's a support to my position, which is that Rishus Yorish is Kerishus Lokeach Dami. Now Rava, on the other hand, he's going to have to explain this brisa also. So let's just read what Rava says over here about this brisa. Back to Roy.
Okay. Rava, this is an opposing explanation of Barais's ruling. Rava Omar, Olam, Omar, Omer, Lach. In fact, I could tell you that Rishus Yoresh Lo Birishus Lokeach domain. I could tell you that the domain of an heir is not similar to the domain of a purchaser. Rishoni Eicha. Yet the lender's heirs need not return the interest payments because it is different here. That is, collecting interest is different from robbery. Ramai Kara Al Tika Meato Nashef Besar Peace. For the verse states, do not take from him interest and increase, but you shall fear your God so that your brother may live with you. The end of the verse commands Acharar Na'achader Le Ki Hivi Denachei Bahadach. Return the interest to the borrower so that he may live with you. Ludide K there no taking interest and increase, but you shall fear your God that your brother may live with you. The end of this verse commands Achader Le Ki Chayvei Denachi Nachu not Denachi Ba'adach. Return the interest to the borrower so he may live with you. L'tidei ta mazahah le rechamena. Now, in this verse, the merciful one instructs only the lender to return the interest. Libere lo mazahah le rechamana. The merciful one does not instruct his son to do so. Just him.
Wow. So according to Rava says that why is it they do not have to return it, the sons? Not like Rabbi Barhama says. Rabbi Barhama says because they've made a kinyan with Yeush and Shini Rishus. Rava says no, there is no Shini Rishus over here because Rishus Yoresh is not regarded as being a Shini Rishus like a purchaser who purchases from a seller. That will be a Shini Rishus. But over here, inheritors, they are not regarded as a Shini Rishus with which to join together with Yeush and make a kinyan in the hands of the sons. So the question is, why, according to Rava, do the sons not need to return the ribbis to the one that paid it? Because they have not made a kinyan in it. They don't own this ribbis money, according to Rava. So Rava says it's because what he says, you see from the pasuk that the pasuk says that al tikach meito neshek v'tarbis, don't take ribbis from him and fear your God, and so that you will live in peace with your brother. So the implication is that the pasuk is saying you got to give that ribbis back, buddy. But Rava says, yeah, who's the buddy that has to give the ribbis back? The buddy that charged it. The lender would have to give it back to the borrower, according to the way Rava's learning the pasuk. But if the lender is already no longer here in this world, what's the obligation of the sons? The sons have absolutely no obligation to give it back, according to this pasuk. And further, it sounds like the pasuk is saying that in other words, the pasuk is saying that the one that has to give it back over here is the lender, and the sons. Oh no, doesn't say that the sons have to give it back. So that's why the Brisa says that the sons don't have to give it back. Interesting. Even though the pasuk is saying that I mean, it's interesting. Okay, so we have some time over here, so we could start this long Rashi.
I'm not sure that Rashi is we're up to.
Oh, just the Rashi, the next Rashi, Man de Masne Law.
Yeah, I don't think we didn't read the Manda Masne part. You stopped at the end before he got to that. He just stopped after Rachmana, and then the next line is Manda Masne
Law, Man de Masne Law, Amaslisen, Aval Brisa Rami Barhama. Oh, we didn't get there yet?
It's the next part of the Gemara.
Okay, here we go with Rashi again, not quoting the exact words of the Gemara.
Yeah, but there is a Manda Masna right next. Manda Masna Brisa. That's the next part of the Gemara. I don't think we read that part of the Gemara. Just before that.
Oh, I see. Yeah. You're right. Okay, so we have to read the next part. Lou, you want to read the next part? No. What about who's next? Alan, you want to read the next part? How about Roy?
By the next part, you mean what? Main Damasni law?
Yeah.
The one who teaches Avaresa, who teaches Rami Bahama's statement in reference to the Baresa about interest, Kol Shekain Amasani Sin maintains it certainly applies to our Mishnah about the theft. Main to Masani La Sin. However, the one who teaches from Bahama's statement in reference to a Mishnah maintains that it applies only to the Mishnah. Avaresa, but with respect to the Baresa, Kariva, La Rami Bahava Kama might teach it in the same manner as Rava. Anyone who teaches Rabbi Bahama's statement in reference to our Mishnah maintains that it applies only to the Mishnah, but with respect to the Brisa, Rabbi Bahama might teach it in the same manner as Rava.
Okay, so very good. Okay, so yeah, we have, in other words, we have two Lashonos in the Gemora over here. The two Lashonos that the Gemora is talking about are, we got this machlokes between Rava and Rabbi Bahama, whether Rishus Yorish is Rishus Lokeach. And according to the first version of their machlokes, their point of reference was the Mishnah. But according to the second, according to Rav Ada bar Ahava, he said that the point of reference was this Brisa. So the Gemara is making a calculation that according to Rav Ada bar Ahava, if Ram bar Chama said his statement over there, all the more so he would say his statement according to Rav Ada bar Ahava on the Mishnah. But the other way around is not clear. Maybe if we according to the one that says that the argument was on the Mishnah, maybe on the Brisa they wouldn't argue, because maybe Rav bar Chama would agree with what Rava is saying over here based upon the pasuk about the ribbis, and then there wouldn't be any proof to his view that Rishus Yorish is Yesker Rishus Lokeach. Okay, very good.
Okay, we got those Rashis.
We'll do the Rashis tomorrow, Bezrat Hashem. Everybody have a good day. Rakabat Slacha.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye, Alan.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.